216,000 people around America believe Harrison Butker, the Kansas City Chiefs kicker, should be fired for his comments during a commencement speech at a private college. Here's what actually is being said versus what actually was said. Here's the deal. Harrison Butker, he's a good kicker, Mr. Notorious as of today. Let's dig into what everybody's saying about it and what people are. Listen to what Harrison Butker said.
Our own nation is led by a man who is delusional enough to make the sign of the cross during a pro-abortion rally. He has been so vocal in his support for the murder of innocent babies.
The dude opens up talking shit on Biden, abortion, IVF, a number of things. Obviously, he's pissing off a whole group of people. We know what side of the aisle they sit on. I get it. We live in an America where everything is polarized, left, right, blue, red. What gang you belong to is how you vote, and you gotta align with whatever party that you apparently affiliate with. Well, here's the thing. 216,000 people in America believe that Harrison Butker should be fired from his job for his comments at Benedictine College. What is fun about that is there are so many quotes out there, so many clips and sound bites on social media about what he said. Let's hear some of what he said, look at some comments, and dig in.
Bad leaders who don't stay in their lane can have a negative impact on society. Our own nation is led by a man who is delusional.
Well, he called Joe Biden delusional. There's one way to piss off a bunch of people.
Bad policies and poor leadership have negatively impacted major life issues. Things like abortion, IVF, surrogacy, euthanasia.
He talked a lot of shit on abortion, IVF, euthanasia. That was a bad call on his part. Wow. He pissed off a lot of people talking shit about euthanasia.
As well as a growing support for degenerate cultural values.
Look, don't come after my degenerate values, Butker.
From the man behind the COVID lockdowns to the people pushing dangerous gender ideologies onto the youth of America.
COVID lockdowns, gender ideologies, a lot of things that pissed off a lot of people. I get it. He said those things. He spouted his opinion, right? Okay, cool. You may not think so cool. 216,000 people apparently don't think so cool. He then rips the Catholic Church and the priests for about 5.5 minutes. Then he talks shit on Pride Month.
Not the deadly sin sort of pride that has an entire month dedicated to it.
That's one way to really get under people's skin. You thought this through, you wrote that speech, you should have known what was gonna happen. But then he got to the ladies. He had a couple things to say for just a very short part of his speech.
For the ladies present today, congratulations on an amazing accomplishment. You should be proud of all that you have achieved to this point in your young lives. Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world.
So what's very interesting is I would venture to guess that a great deal of women in this world who have children are very excited about the children that they bring into this world. If they weren't excited about children they might bring in this world, they should be having a lot of thoughts about what they might be doing with their lives. And for some people, that's not having kids. I get it. But it is in this sentence right here, this quote of his right here, that the internet is ablaze with people saying that Harrison Butker just told women to abandon their careers and that they belong in the kitchen.
My beautiful wife, Isabel, would be the first to say that her life truly started when she began living her vocation as a wife and as a mother. I'm on this stage today and able to be the man I am because I have a wife who leans into her vocation. I'm beyond blessed with the many talents God has given me, but it cannot be overstated that all of my success is made possible because a girl I met in band class back in middle school would convert to the faith, become my wife, and embrace one of the most important titles of all, homemaker.
Now it seems to me that he just praised the vocation of a homemaker, the efforts of his wife. What are people saying about this specific comment of his, all right? CNN says, CNN Sports quoted columnist Sam McDowell of the Kansas City Star saying he promoted the role of a homemaker, here's the key part, not as an acceptable choice, but as their duty as a husband's servant. Now, where in his whole entire speech did he say anything about a woman being a husband's servant. No, he didn't say that. If you're going to extrapolate and paraphrase, you should extrapolate and paraphrase that he said that it is not just an acceptable choice, but it is a commendable choice, a very rewarding and fulfilling choice, which it is. Look, if you're gonna have kids, man or woman, if you're gonna have kids and don't want to spend time with them, put it the fuck away. Don't have kids. Just don't do it. Don't have kids if you're not gonna like them, love them, and hang around with them and want to be with them, spend time with them, cook and clean for them, put on TV for them and take them to the beach. And be just that, is a parent and a homemaker. People like Samantha McDowell and others out there right now are gonna downgrade the role of a homemaker. Forget about whether that's the male or the female. There's a lot of households in America, by the way, that have the woman as the primary earner and the man is the homemaker. But the truth is, there's nothing wrong with being a homemaker. There's not. There's other people online who are poking fun at Harrison about how they should have 14 kids, and somebody added the Chiefs on Twitter asking if my woman money is good enough to be spent on Kansas City Chiefs tickets. It's getting comical, honestly. But I digress. Let's get into the rest of the video.
Congratulations on an amazing accomplishment. How many of you are sitting here now about to cross this stage and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you are going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world.
So he congratulated the ladies for their accomplishments, said that many will have successful careers. Doesn't sound like he's saying stay in the kitchen there, is it? He guesses that most women are excited about being a homemaker, blah, 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 right? Then he goes on and talks about his wife and how he owes all his success to her. He wouldn't be the man he is today, even the success in the NFL today, if it weren't for her support, etc. A lot to be said about that. So if you think that Harrison Butker is a misogynist for saying that men should lean into their masculinity, primal, and that women might be more rewarded by being homemakers. First off, being a homemaker, he didn't say anything about the kitchen. The vast majority of homemakers that I know, when the other spouse is done making money to support the home, right? Because that's the other side of the home, is a person supporting the finances in today's world to make sure that there is a home, right? When that other spouse is done making money to support the home, then that other spouse comes home and helps do the things in the home that a homemaker would do, right? Typically, not across the board, not all people are doing that in households, but it's very interesting. It's very interesting how this has been so spun out of control to where there are 217,000 people who believe that Harrison Butker should not have the right to have a job, to earn money, because he has an opinion, and he spoke his opinion at a private college graduation, a Catholic college, a college that one might assume inherently has certain values that may not necessarily align with mainstream culture. He didn't go to University of Texas at Austin, a publicly funded university, and say these things. He went to a private Catholic college where he was invited to speak. He spoke his opinion. He has the right to that opinion. His opinion is the reason why people believe that he should be fired from his job and not have the right to earn money to support his wife, who is a homemaker, and their son, their young son. I find this to be very interesting. Now, I don't care what side of the political spectrum that you fall on. I don't fall on either. I don't fall on the right, I don't fall on the left. I think they're both batshit insane. To have a two-party system is just to foster a gang mentality. You got gangs on the left and gangs on the right, and we all go against each other, blah, 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 right? Then you might have a few people in the middle that aren't necessarily affiliated with any party, but politicians don't have any real success in those areas, and the people that vote don't really see their vote have any impact because it's not going to one party or the other, and so we now have these two monsters that kind of juxtapose apparently. But if you actually talk to people from each party, you'll find that we align far more than you would think. You have one party in America right now that has been pushing ideology and values on people, on children, that has been relentlessly pushing their own ideology and values on people publicly, in public settings, in work settings, in schools. Yet here's a man who spoke his opinions at a private college. Yes, there were cameras there, but it is a private college, even a religious college. And people believe that just because he spoke his opinions in such a setting that he should be fired. Not a great chance of him getting fired because he's a great kicker.
Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? Oh yeah, there's my bitch.
Remember, the ball must travel 10 yards. It's loose.
Mud Dogs football! Mud Dogs football!
If he wasn't a great kicker and didn't hold multiple NFL records, the special teams key to success for the Kansas City Chiefs, the Chiefs probably would cut him. They probably would, to maintain their political correctness, but they're not cutting him. And I don't believe that they will, largely because they really rely on him for success. But you know what? There are people out there who have lost loved ones to drunk driving. When there was a drunk driver on the Kansas City Chiefs who resulted in someone's serious injury, very unfortunate situation. Yes, the Chiefs did handle that, and they ultimately did cut him because there were criminal charges involved. But there was no change.org petition with 217,000 people calling for him to be cut. It's a disagreement of opinion. Harrison Butker has one side of an opinion, and he spoke it. Other people have a different side of the opinion, and they speak it on a regular basis. So I leave you with this. Harrison Butker's speech was 21 minutes long. Now I would ask you to go watch the whole entire thing, but if the people that are upset about the things that they're upset about go and watch the whole entire video, which they should, they're just gonna see a lot of shit talking about Joe Biden, abortion, IVF, Pride Month. They will just be more angry. But what I'm saying is, if you're gonna be angry about his speech, be angry accurately about his speech. Don't be angry about his speech because of some sound bites that are completely misrepresented and re-scripted. So if you're gonna rail against Harrison Butker for speaking his opinion about certain things from a religious perspective in a personal commencement speech to a private religious institution where he was invited to speak, then go ahead and petition to have absolutely every person who thinks differently than you to be fired from their job and children starve. So the only people that should have a job and be able to support their families are the people who believe ideologically right in step with you. And then, and only then, will the world have justice, right? So before we start doing reckless and irresponsible things like Quentin Lucas, the mayor of Kansas City, sending out tweets exposing exactly where Harrison Butker lives, creating a security threat for him and his family, where he lives with his wife and his young son, let's take a page from the book of Tavia Hunt, the wife of the Chiefs CEO, who said, affirming motherhood and praising your wife, as well as highlighting the sacrifice and dedication it takes to be a mother, is not bigoted. Someone disagreeing with you doesn't make them hateful. It just means they have a different opinion. Cheers, y'all. This is gonna be fun.